Hello, Kazies, and welcome. I have such a treat for us today. I'm here with Natalie Levin. Thanks for joining me, Natalie. You're so much fun. So I kind of gave you guys a little sneak peek in the light language activation. Natalie is someone that I stumbled across, I think on Instagram. Is that how I found you, Natalie? I don't even know, but the stars aligned us. That's all that matters. Yeah. But you stood out to me because A, you're just super colorful, which of course I'm all about. And B, you just really, you like reek living out loud. Like you give permission. I could tell just by being in your presence, it is safe AF to just like be unique and like nothing is too weird for you. So to me, that is like, oh my, that's like a magnet. Okay, how can I get to know this woman better? So why don't you give us a little introduction about who you are, like what your passions are, and we can just kind of jam from there.
Okay. I have been really, first of all, I think I might have found you because I listened to Meru Matu's interview with Amanda on Astrology Hub. And then I was like, who is Meru Matu? And then I found you and her jamming. And I was like, who is that purple and blue haired girl who has moons behind her? And then I was like, I need to know more. And then I was like, oh my God, she's as active on Facebook as I am. And then I was so excited, and her teeth and gums are so beautiful. And now I know everyone that Kayla has a parent who was in the dental business, as do I in this lifetime. So hence we both have really great gums.
Hence the smiles for miles.
Smiles for miles. And so I sing opera. I had a professional opera career for a while, and I have been in Jungian analysis since I was 28. My Saturn return threw me into extreme crisis, and I'm so grateful for that. And it really informs my the way I view my inner world and others. And I'm in recovery from all sorts of addictions. And I, through my recovery, found I didn't understand anything about higher power or anything beyond what I could see. I really was like, my will is the will of everything. And I was like, I am my own higher power, until it didn't work anymore. And then I was able to discover there was a medium near me that I never explored any of that before, and she was talking with angels, and I was like, oh, I'll go to this. And she helped me to very gently say hello to things outside of myself with angel cards, Doreen Virtue's angel cards. It was like 7 or 8 years ago. It was so gentle, and my astrologer then was like, it would be really helpful if you could learn to pray. Just simply say help or say thank you, which I had never done before. And now I feel like the talking with angels has blossomed out into this extremely exciting passion for astrology, which I've been listening to and reading for about 7 years, the Saturnian cycle. But now all of a sudden, and it's matching up, Kayla, with your reaching out to me. It all worked out that I could afford to take an astrological intro class. And I speak the language of astrology, but I can't read it and I can't write it. So now I'm going to learn how to read a chart. And I haven't been in school for anything in 50 billion years. Oh, I teach yoga too. And I sing for my students.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I love glitter, and I put it on them if they want.
Oh my gosh, awesome. Glitter makes everything better.
It does. Now, I will say, Kayla, that I am becoming aware that it's not so good for the earth. I don't know if you know this, and I am starting to slightly reconsider. Actually, and I am going to have to, what can I let the sparkle burst out from inside me and trust that that is enough? I don't know the answer.
And perhaps creating some ecologically friendly glitter is in your future. I don't know, just
yeah. Yes. as I get a new career.
Yeah, right. Just sprinkle that on. Well, I love that the angels were a bridge for you because I don't know that you know this, but back in 2010, I was certified by Doreen Virtue as an angel therapy practitioner.
Oh, I have a lump in my throat.
And the angels.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they were a bridge for me. Kind of, I went through the religious thing and then the rebellion thing, and then the angels were kind of a bridge for me to find some type of faith that was more in alignment and less dogmatic.
Yeah.
And then through, the archangels, I'm like, okay, what else is out there? And that's kind of when I started exploring the starseed stuff. So we have a very similar path. I love that.
Oh, I feel touched.
Yeah, I have like 30 of her decks sitting right here.
Oh, totally, like my armpits are sweating even more.
Oh my God, this is so Yes. So tell us a bit about the operatic journey. Like, this is so unique. Tell us how you got into it, what your style is. Maybe give us a taste.
Okay. Well, first I'll give you a taste. I happen to have it's a piece lined up here on my computer. I'm not sure like how that's going to translate on virtual. I'll take my headphones out because it might like overmodulate you all and your earbud. I don't know, but I'll sing a piece from an opera called Samson et Dalila, which is Samson and Delilah. And in this piece, it's called Mon cœur s'ouvre à ta voix. My heart opens at the sound of your voice. And I'm Delilah, and I am singing to Samson, and I'm hoping, now I never really studied the Bible, but I think that Delilah wants to get Samson's hair because it's his power. And so I'm hoping to like get him to get quite intimate with me so that I can get his hair. So I'm going to turn my little computer a little bit, take these out so that you don't blast away. And I mean, I don't have to stand, but okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Coming. Here we go. It's going to be loud. Can you hear the orchestra? Well, the waves, it's like waves of sounds. They're coming. They're 3 minutes.
Feel that. Holy moly, that was incredible, girl. Wow, wait, I could like feel that all the way. My armpits are sweating. Woo! You're amazing. Wow, wait. I don't think I've ever had
did it translate? Like,
that.
did it?
Wow. Blew the top off. So tell us all the things. How did you discover that? How did you learn that?
Oh my God. Oh, yes.
Wow. I'm so intrigued. Thank you, by the way.
Oh my God.
Incredible.
My honor. When I was 19, I was at Temple University. Like I went to 5 different universities, and Temple was one of them. And they had a college campus in Rome, and I was 19, and I was like, "Ooh, that brochure is pretty." Like I think I must have been so in my most recent lifetime living in Italy, because I was like, I have to go there, and no one in my family is of Italian descent at all. Okay. And my dad was like, "Why?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I mean, like, think of like, I'm 19, I have no idea what's going on. And so I go over there, and no one in my particular Temple community wanted to expand out beyond the Americans. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, no one spoke Italian. So I went and found a choir that sang in this gorgeous church in the middle of Roma, and they were all Italian. I was the only non-Italian person in there, and I didn't understand them, but in 3 months I was fluent. I was dreaming in Italian after 3 months. And they were so kind to me, and they would say, "Oh, Natalia." We would sing things like, "Kyrie eleison, Kyrie," and they were like, "Natalia, tu devi fare lezioni di canto, c'hai una voce bellissimissima," and which means, "Natalie, you should take lessons. You have such a beautiful voice." And I'm like, "What are you hearing?"
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So I take one lesson with someone that I have no idea how to find a voice teacher, and he's like, after 1 or 2 lessons, he was like, "I don't know what else to teach you. You have to go to my teacher who's outside of New York City."
Oh my gosh.
I know. And I was like, okay. And so I go back to, I moved to New York I transferred to Columbia in New York City to finish up there undergrad. And I go and find this voice teacher who is the teacher of my Italian teacher. And after 1 lesson, this teacher, Walter Blazer, he's left his body, he said, "You know, what I can tell you is you have the piece of gristle in your throat that makes a sound that is prized by opera companies. However, I don't know if you're musical, if you learn well, if you can speak other languages. I don't know anything else about you. So just having the meat in your throat doesn't mean anything." But I did have all the others. Like I spoke the languages before I actually started singing, because I don't know. I don't know what it is about my chart. Maybe Mercury in Pisces.
I was gonna say, where's Mercury?
It's in Pisces. Like it comes in, and it stays in me, and it can flow out. And I'm also I think this is helpful in terms of speaking another language. I'm very unshy to make 5 billion mistakes and look really. And no one ever's like, "You look silly," but I'm like, I'm gonna get my message across, even if I have to do charades. So then I took some lessons with him, and I learned a whole bunch of amazing repertoire through him, but no actual technique. Like, he didn't know how to teach. I didn't know even I didn't know what that was. Wow. And then I found another teacher, Mignon Dunn, who was like a giant opera star at the Metropolitan Opera. And she was fabulous, and she was my voice part, and 6 feet tall, and like we were both giant people. Like I'm 5'10", and a giant person. And but she also, I now know that knowing how to sing does not mean I know how to teach it. Mm-hmm. Because I can do something really well does not mean I can teach it to someone else. And I try to teach myself as part of my like scholarship. I ended up at Northwestern after Manhattan School of Music and Northwestern for opera, and they had me teaching, and I'm like, I don't know how to communicate what's happening in here. It's a myth. You can't reach into your vocal cords and be like,
right. I wish you could.
It's totally conceptual and like, I know. So, and then I just kept getting hired for opera companies, and I honestly, it picked me. And I didn't pick it. So for a while, I was like having such a fun time traveling to Denver, Colorado. There's a little opera company outside of there called Central City Opera. And I sang with them for 2 summers, Santa Fe Opera for 2 summers, France and Virginia. And like, I'm like, this is so great. And then one day it wasn't fun anymore. When I turned 36, I was in my Pluto Square Pluto. And it's like one of the many midlife crises. And I was like, in my therapy session, I was like, oh, I just got another contract to sing in St. Louis. And I was like, oh, I feel sad. And my therapist was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't there like 5 billion singers beating down the door to get that job? And I was like, yes. And he was like, who's forcing you to do this? And I was like, nobody. And I canceled. And it was, I have not regretted that decision.
Oh my God.
It's been 11 years since I quit professionally, and it's so freeing. I think I'm too much of a homebody now. Like I really enjoy, I don't want to travel, and I did a lot of traveling and I'm done for now.
For now. And good for you for honoring that, and that's honoring your truth in the face of adversity when it looks on the outside like, what the hell are you doing? I've made a couple of those decisions recently as well, but you know what? Our soul knows. And it sounds like you experienced the freedom on the other side of that. So what words of wisdom do you have to share for those because I really liked how you pointed out that you're not afraid to like fail in front of people because failure is just feedback, right? It's how we learn, it's how we grow, it's how we become stronger. So for those in here who are ready and craving to put themselves out there in a unique way, what words of wisdom do you have for them?
Oh, wow. I think, well, first of all, I'm so drawn to people who put themselves out there. Like I think that people are drawn to me because of that. Like I see you and already your hair is blue and purple and you're talking on publicly about very things that aren't spoken about, which I really admire because now that I know that you had Doreen Virtue training 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah. Now that I know that, it makes sense that you have progressed to like being curious about the star seeds because I'm just learning about through Meru Matu, like, and also I've been recently really listening to a lot of near-death experience people and everything. So what I think for me, what is helpful is first of all, continuing to remember that this is a dream. This is a play. I'm in the play, and the thing is, I have a lot of experience fucking up in the play, like the opera. Like I've burped in the middle of arias. I've had spit come up and I'm like drowning in my own spit in the middle of the piece. And I just keep going. Or like I fart while I'm singing and I just hope for the best. Yeah. And like.
It shows how human you are.
I know.
People can relate.
Yes, right. Like, so I think that I am like everyone else fucks up. Nobody's perfect. And, if I mess up, I think that I keep also coming back to, I don't know how you manage this, Kayla, but I know a lot of writer friends of mine, they don't read the comments. And I am not as public as you are out there in terms of even my performing or yoga teaching on the internet. The people here know me, and I burp while I'm teaching. Like I have a lot of scatology, which I really love. I love talking about poop and pee so much. So
we all do it.
I know, right? I think it might be a Jewish thing too. Like I think Jews love to talk about poop and pee. Like ethnically, I'm Jewish. but I don't practice. So I think that's like in terms of speaking the other languages, I love to get in the whole mindset of the other country that I'm talking. When I speak the language, I feel like I get such a flavor and sense of the country. So I'm thirsty for that. And I'm so curious and I want to know more. And I want to know, what is it like? Like, what is it like? You don't have to answer this. What is it like, Kayla, to be in your skin right now as the human being that you have chosen to be in this lifetime? What is it like in there? So I think being curious is helpful for me to not feel afraid. Being able to also honor that some people will be triggered by anything I do.
How do you handle that? How do you keep going?
It happens in some of my closest relationships, and it's painful. It's painful.
It is.
It hurts my heart.
It does.
Because it's like simply by being existing, some of the people for many years have been like, I can't even be around you. And I'm like, and I think that how do I keep going? Tons and tons of therapy to really trust that I am okay. Yes. Like I'm okay just the way I am. And acknowledging that simply by existing, I do impact others.
Yes, you do.
I do. So, and if you are someone with whom I am in an intimate friendship, or you're a member of my chosen family, I care that my actions and being impact you. There was a time when I didn't care. And as of about 8 years ago, I really actually do care. Like I don't want you to feel uncomfortable in my presence. How can I help so that we can continue to be in an intimate friendship and I can still be me as much as possible and you can feel comfortable. So
and where is that fine line between making sure that they're not uncomfortable but still not sacrificing your authenticity? Like, where do you draw that line?
Wow.
Because that line's real. I'm right there with you. I got people very close to me who are not happy with the changes, and it's not like I want to sever the relationship, but I also don't want to hold myself back. So my family of origin has been able to tolerate all of my changes and shifts, and some friends have not. And one of them we broke up as friends, and it just sucked. I was expressing the part of her that she was not ever invited to express. And so there was a part of her that felt angry at me because I am the projected part of her that's getting smushed down by her inner world. Oh gosh, so well said. So well said, because that right there is so common, Natalie. So how can you love someone through that, see what's happening, and not shut down yourself?
I was not able to do that with her, and she wasn't able to do it with me. I was also very unskilled at that time with setting boundaries, and she was a boundary pusher. I think that now I'm much better able to set boundaries for myself and also honor the boundaries of others. Like I would say, I've learned through many, many, many thousands of dollars of therapy, group therapy for recovering survivors of incest and sexual abuse, and also couples therapy. I've learned to say, would you be open to my asking, what is it about me that makes you uncomfortable? And the person then has the option to say, I'm not open to that. And can I sit with the discomfort of the no? And I have had to work really hard to tolerate the discomfort of like a constant unresolvable problem in relationships, and to is the relationship worth my sitting with that discomfort? And sometimes the answer is no.
That's so right. I'm so proud of you. I could not agree more. And I love that you asked that question, because that's actually something that I teach is, when in doubt, just ask questions. Perhaps someone doesn't know why you're triggering the fuck out of them. Ask, like, how is my doing this upsetting you? Like, I legit am curious, because if there's any way that I can like soften the blow or like help you understand what's going on, it's just a dialogue. And there is such an epidemic of, well, let's just say narcissism, where it's like, no, I will not hear a different perspective, because, and as empaths, we have to know that shutting down does not define us, just as much as those who are our number one fans and like, oh my gosh, put us on pedestals, they don't define us either, right? And so it's just staying in our sovereignty, knowing our truth, knowing that these perspectives that come at us, no matter where they're coming from on the spectrum, they're all a reflection of others' experiences, right?
Yeah.
And how we receive it as our experience.
Yes, I'm sure that I don't know if you use this language, but I'm sure that you receive so many projections of so many people. And that's something that I think that's part of why I had to quit singing professionally, because as on the stage, talk about receiving projections. And it was very tied up for me in acting out in my addictions, like, because I would get so much projection poured onto me, and then the show would be over and I wouldn't know how do I fill that void? So I would like, I just need to fill. So now when I go teach or I sing, I have such a more solid sense of who I am, that afterwards I can come home and be like, oh, here's my cat. I'm going to literally go scoop the shit out of the litter. And it's so grounding. I mean, we actually have 5 cats. My cat is, I don't know. She's in my profile picture. That's White Pidgey, who has, she's almost left her body twice so far. But we have cats who've almost died many times in our house. And they just say, they're like, oh, this is a safe place to explore the near-death experience and then come back. So here's,
that's awesome. The memo is out.
I like hearing if you're open to telling me, what is your training or study about how to speak in a relationship? Mine is like a Gestalt therapy.
Yeah. Well, I have a degree in humanistic psychology, so I did study Gestalt. Yeah. And I'm certified in NLP, certified in hypnotherapy, I'm a certified life coach. So I have a lot of different certifications, and communication to me is everything, because my personal core wound is feeling misunderstood. And so in order for others to understand me, I need to understand myself. And that is in the face of opinions that don't resonate, and allowing for that dysresonance and staying true to myself and not shutting down due to others feeling uncomfortable. And so I hear you when you say, like, I love people so much. I at one point didn't care how they felt, and now I do. But I feel that there's such a fine line between that caring and holding ourselves back as a result. And you demonstrate that in such a beautiful way, because you still are out there. So can you share the space, what happens in the space of letting go of what no longer serves? Like, what can transform? What has been your experience in those heartbreaking relationships that you have to let go? Like, what comes to be as a result?
Oh, that's like when I was in withdrawal. When I'm in withdrawal, and I'm doing trauma work around incest and sexual abuse, and like, what the image that comes to mind is, during that time I was living alone, and I had this room that I had painted the floor hot pink, and it was like so cozy, and my bed was on the floor, and I had a very old TV, and I watched episode after episode of Lost,
I love it.
and just and slept and ate pint after pint of Ben and Jerry's, because Ben and Jerry's was like the safest way for me to act out compared to all the other ways.
Yeah.
And my therapist was like, I think that's fine. You know,
Right.
you're not putting your life in danger
Right. Yeah.
by eating 3 pints, sometimes 2 pints of Ben and Jerry's a night. Like, I just was like, okay, this is what I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also for me, I was going to 12 steps where I could speak about the kind of stuff that was coming up trauma-wise, and people really understood. For me, it took me a while to find the right 12 step. Because there's so many.
Right.
I don't go to the meetings anymore, and one of my therapists said that the 13th step. Are you familiar with 12-step lingo at all?
Somewhat.
Okay. Well, the 13th step is really like being able to continue, for me, being able to continue my life without having to go to meetings every day.
Like the integration of the work that you did. Yeah.
Yeah. Because some of the 12 step is amazing, and it has helped me so much. And I have 2 incredibly powerful recovery friends left from there. But it also can be a little black and white.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And as a Jungian analysand, there's no black and white in Jungian, and there's no absolute. And so I feel like I am finally able to explore other colors. But for a while, in that alchemical process that you're talking about, when I let go of the painful relationships and behaviors, you know what it felt? The word is boring. I felt boring. My life felt boring. And people would say to me, you couldn't be boring if you tried. And I'm like, but compared to what my life was like before, which was like living in New York City, traveling around the world, singing opera everywhere, waiting tables in like the coolest restaurant, making tons of cash, superstars coming in all the time, and teaching yoga at a world famous yoga studio and having my classes sold out. This is boring.
Hey, girl, fuck this blank canvas.
Tabula rasa. Yeah, right. So I had to also become comfortable with boring, which now is like, feels so, this is actually healthy for me now.
Right. Yes, it's a new phase.
Yeah.
How did you get used to it?
Oh, well, gosh, I had to really continue to say to myself over and over, it is enough simply that I exist. Like, even if I never sing again, never teach again, and actually I call it a recovery job, but it also is like an amazing job where I get to work. I've been in an office for 10 years, and I got that job right when I started my recovery, and I had gotten divorced from a man, and it felt so structured and so safe. I'd never had that. Like, I had health benefits and a regular paycheck. What? And like, what is that? And so through that, like the structured day, and then coming home and watch Lost all night, and eat ice cream, I learned to, like, I was like, this is a little bit awesome because I'm getting to rest and really care for myself in a way I had never done. I had no idea how to do that. It was like learning how to parent this little part of myself that I didn't even know exist. I didn't know that I had needs. I had no idea. No one, I was like first child, perfect. And no one, like the story is, oh, Natalie would put herself to bed. Like she was perfect. And I was like, wait, that can't be. Like, I had to have some needs, but because no one even thought about it, it wasn't something in my consciousness. So when I started to become, it was actually at 28 when I was starting to have I don't know what to call it, a nervous breakdown, Saturn return, something, but like it felt like I opened a closet door and this black hole of need was behind there. And it was so all encompassing. And I was like, oh my God, I have to shut that. Like, what I can't deal with that. Fuck you.
But you did.
I did. It has taken 20 years. And it also really helps for me to be in a partnership and also be a mother. This is not something I thought was in my future. And it's very
So awesome.
grounding.
Yeah. No, I bet. Nothing will keep you present more, huh?
Yes. Yes. And I'm honored that I am like so present and sober. I'm 47, to be experiencing this at this age is pretty
Awesome.
surprise. And it's really a gift for me that I am getting to experience this sober, like sober from even sometimes picking my cuticles, which is another acting out behavior. Like I have so many.
And that's such a good point. You know, it doesn't have to be a substance. We can distract ourselves in a lot of different ways.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
What has it been like? Oh, sorry, go ahead. What?
Are you 36?
I'm about to be 35 next month.
Oh, okay. All right. You're next month? You're a
May
Taurus?
10th. Yeah.
Oh, no, you're Gemini. Oh, you're Taurus.
No, I'm a Taurus.
Oh,
My
that's
North
what
Node's
grounds all
Gemini.
your fire. That grounds your fire. Okay, that's why you can like, you're doing so much. It's so exciting. I wonder what, I know you have Uranus like activating and everything. You were gonna
It just came off my moon at my midheaven.
Oh.
So, and it's entering my stellium in Taurus, which is my sun and my Mercury and all. So I have a lot of Uranian activity that is just around the corner for me. Yes. Yay.
Oh my God, I'm so curious to see how that.
I am too. Woo! I was going to ask you, you've been in our tribe just for a short period of time, but what has it been like for you?
Oh, it's so nice to be somewhere where I can be like, the aliens are here and look at all the fifth dimensions and I can ask questions about this quote unquote event that like is already happening and people have answers or theories. And it's like, I don't talk about this even in my astrology community. I feel shy to talk about it. And it is very much in my consciousness. I also know that I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
So
well said.
It's so nice to be somewhere where I can even slightly bring this stuff up and hear from other people, like star seeds that I didn't know you could see in someone's chart, that where my soul might have lived before in other planets. Is that accurate?
That's what Maru does. Yeah, she'll be able to
I'm
tell.
making her like Spanish.
I'm sure she will be just fine with that. Maruma too. So yeah, she can find in your chart where your starseed lineage is so that you can have a better understanding about some of your characteristics that are coming through in the human experience.
Wow. I know and you said that was really helpful for you.
Oh yes, very, very much so. Yeah.
That touches me.
So awesome. Just to, like you said, a lot of people are thinking this, but not actually having the conversation. So we have to normalize it somewhere. So
yeah. You were talking with someone recently and like, this is going to be the normal conversation. And like, I don't know how soon, maybe in 10 years, in 5, this is going to be normal.
Yes.
But right now it's pretty out there.
We're on the cutting edge of that for sure.
Yeah.
So what are your final words of wisdom for our viewers? What do you want to leave them contemplating today?
Oh gosh, I'm so grateful that you all chose to incarnate with me and Kayla at this time, because I know that I'm not alone, and I really feel like this is such an incredibly amazing time to be a human on planet Earth.
Oh my gosh.
This is like such an honor and a privilege. It is hard as fucking shit. I know that.
For real.
And it's a privilege and an honor. And I guess I always say to my yoga students, I'm like, can you, even when it becomes very uncomfortable, which might not happen, I don't know in your cosmic den, but when it becomes, it does. Okay. Like, can you still commit to staying incarnate? Because for me, I have been suicidal. So so can I commit to staying in my body even for one more breath and see what more is revealed? So that is my wish for you, that you can stay in your body during this incredible vinyasa.
Vinyasa we call life.
Of life that is happening on this planet right now.
I just love that so much, because I really don't talk about yoga, and I've been practicing yoga for 20 years. And the number one thing I carry from my yoga practice to my daily life is that with breath, we can get through everything. Like, it can feel like we're about to just, the whole world is gonna like tower over. And if you just like say, but in this moment I can breathe, it just like allows the tension to pause. It's like, so thank you for that reminder, because it is intense for all of us. And the more awake we are, I mean, we can't go back to sleep. It's like you said, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. But when you do know it, it's like, oh, shit, fuck.
Totally.
Shit's getting real.
Yeah.
So where can our friends find you?
Well, I'm friends with Kayla on Facebook. So if you'd like to be my friend, I would be honored. And I have a really weird, like, crazy cat lady picture up right now.
Awesome.
I'm also on Facebook as Natalie Levin Yoga Opera Glitter. I'm on Instagram as Natalie Levin Yoga Opera Glitter. And I do have a website that is Natalie Levin Yoga. But Facebook is my primarily exciting place.
Awesome. You're super fun to follow on Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
I think of you as more of an Instagrammer. That's funny, because I don't know why, but I just love your Instagram.
Paradigm change.
That's right. See, we are multi-dimensional. I love it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Kozzies. I love you all. Make it a magical day. We'll talk to you soon.